Hey, what's up, guys? It is Monday, February 7th, 2022. Just doing some Magic news. What's up with it? To do today, I was thinking about what to do, and then I realized today's Commander spoilers for Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. We got Power Up that they revealed the deck list for, and we also got Upgrades Unleashed. I looked through the decks. They both seem like they have some decent reprints. The blue-white had stuff that I like a lot, like Tashar, Ancestor's Apostle, Emry, Lurker of the Lock, Ethereum Sculptor, Master of Ethereum, as well as stuff like SRAM, Senior Edificer, and Indomitable Archangel, also sweet. And then I also saw that they did Mirage Mirror, which that was kind of a surprising reprint to me. And they got some cool stuff. You got stuff like Prairie Stream, which is one of the Zendikar dual lands that only comes into play untapped if you have two or more other basics in play. Exotic Orchard, Command Tower, Port Town. Spire of Industry is pretty good. I also saw that they had, I'm pretty sure it's brand new art for Swords of Plowshare, which that's pretty exciting. It's pretty nice looking, actually. If you guys have a chance to look it up, it is sweet. I wish there was a foil version. Maybe there will be in the like the special packs. And then you had the Upgrades Unleashed. Thought this was kind of an odd choice to do red-green for the equipment auras. There isn't, I don't remember there ever being any like red-green equipment aura stuff matters type of thing. They said some good reprints as well. Ox of Aganos. I might be butchering that name. It's always good to see Sakura Tribe Elder in new decks. He's really awesome. Let's see, they also had Chaos Warp. That's really sweet reprint. Blackblade Reforged. Of course, both decks have Soul Rings in them. Then you got Bear Umbra. That's always an awesome reprint. Untapping all your lands is an extremely powerful thing. Plus, it's an aura. I did think that the red-green deck had a few better reprints for lands. Cinderglade, pretty much the same Zendikar type land for red-green as the Prairie Stream. But you also got stuff like the Mossfire Valley, which is a land that taps for a red and a green if you pay one and tap it. Raging Ravine, which is a really good land. I think it got slightly better on the lands, but maybe a few less really good cards as far as reprints go in general. I think other than Ox and Bear Umbra, but those are both really good cards, so it's really hard to tell. Yeah, those are really cool. That's what they had. I went and looked up all the new cards because when you look up on Magic MTG's website, they don't have all of the new cards where they just pop up, so I had to actually go look for them. The ones that I thought really stood out, at least for the Power Up deck, the blue-white vehicles, I really liked Shurikai, the Genesis engine, a commander for vehicles. That looks really fun. Zorius, it's like 4 for an 8/8. I think you can crew it for 8, and it makes you pay 1 when it's in play, and you can make a Thopter and draw 2 cards and then discard a card, so it has a really good effect. I don't think it's overpowered by any means. It's just a good, if you want to build a vehicle commander, that's probably the way I would go. It looks really cool too. It has very much like the Gundam type look to it, depending on what kind of mechs you like or you grew up with. I also noticed Drum Bellower. Drum Bellower is pretty cheap, and it's a white artifact that untaps all your creatures on everybody else's untap step. So it's kind of like a miniature version of what's that creature? The green, can't remember its name right now, but the green creature that untaps everything. It's something like that, but it's in white. So white got an effect that untaps your creatures every turn, which is really powerful and really cool. Organic Extinction, you can tap your artifacts to help pay for it. It's like 8 mana, it's like 7 and a white, destroy all non-artifact creatures. That seems really good for an artifact deck based strategy. I like it. That looks really cool. you know, obviously it's going to be more good against fair decks. It's not going to be as good against combo orientated stuff to where they don't really care about their army of dudes in play. But if you're up against Kranko or something to that strategy where it's creature based, that's a pretty sweet thing. You get to keep all your stuff, they lose all theirs. Also, access denied looks really cool. So it's a 5 mana, 3 and 2 blue counter spell, and it counters the spell, and then you get Thopters equal to the casting cost. It reminds me of Spell Swindle. Don't be confused, it's not as good as Spell Swindle, because Spell Swindle, you get treasures, which you can use right away. Much better. But I think it's cool. Like, currently, I think I mentioned in the last stream, I'm building Urza. So these are Thopters that I'll be able to use on the following turn that I can either tap for mana or attack in with. So, and there's no reason you can't run both, possibly, if you have enough room in your deck. So I think that's a good card to look out for. That looks really cool. On the red-green deck side, Aki, the Battle Squad, gives you extra combat, 1 extra combat phase after attacking for all of your modified creatures. So anything that has an aura, enchantment, or a +1/+1 counter on it, or an equipment, they get an extra combat phase. That also seems really cool. There's, you know, a bunch of those type of effects that are running around with that have to do with extra combat phases, with different things you need to do to jump through hoops, like Combat Celebrant, where you have to exert it in order to get an extra combat phase. Every time they print something like that, they always see play in one place or another. Obviously, some are better than others, but I think that could be really cool built around the right deck. Also, one with the Kami. It seems pretty good. It's like it's an effect that you can put on your creatures that gives you dudes if any of your modified creatures die. Whether it's the creature you have it on, it's an enchantment aura, you put it on something, I think it had flash, and you get to create 1/1s equal to a modified creature that dies power. So at an instant, it gives you an instant speed trick to make 1/1 tokens. As well as, being as it doesn't have to go on the creature that's dying, it's very possible you might get the effect more than once, you know, or you might have a board wipe that happens and you're able to get a ton of creatures just to swing back and kill everybody else with. I think that's pretty cool. Silk Guard, seems like a cool kind of combat trick. Instant speed, you can put X +1/+1 counters for green and X on, I think it's target creature, and all of your modified creatures gain hexproof till end of turn. That seems really cool. I don't know if it's as good. There's that other card that does it for green and 1. I think it's like Heroic Intervention or something like that. Green and 1, and you get to get hexproof and indestructible on all your creatures. That's probably better, but it's cool for a new card in the pre-mades. Let's see. Farewell was spoiled since last week. I just wanted to kind of give that a shout out because that card looks really cool. You get to choose 1 or more. Exile all artifacts, exile all enchantments, exile all creatures. I think the last one might be planeswalkers. We can look that up real quick. Exile all artifacts, exile all creatures. Okay, it's not planeswalkers. It's all artifacts, all creatures, all enchantments, all graveyards. Or don't do any of them, I suppose. Well, no, you have to choose at least one. So that'd be cool. But what got me thinking about this is, I don't know, for any of you guys who are Dragon Ball Z fans out there, watching Goku versus, actually it was Gohan versus Cell after he turned Super Saiyan 2 and punched 18 out of him. Cell kind of goes for broke and tries to self-destruct, and Goku does the instant transmission. That would be a really sweet altar. Just got me thinking of it. I think that'd be really cool. If anybody ever does that, that would be awesome to see. Let's see. That was pretty much it that I saw for new cards. Oh, Hanada, the Dawn Drowned. I'm a big fan of Jeskai EDH. My first deck was Newmont, the Devastator. And so seeing that as something that's coming out, that card looks really cool. It could be a neat kind of Jeskai control type commander. I might build something around it eventually. I don't know. Um, I don't know what you guys think about it, but I think that's pretty cool. I like seeing new stuff for that. Also, the new Spell Pierce. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's possible we're gonna get like a full art version of it. And so this would be I think, the first full art Spell Pierce that you could get. And so it looks like it's showing Jataxius taking on the new Planeswalker. And so, I don't know. I think that there's some really good art for like the one with the merfolk creature on it back from Ixalan. That one's really nice. And then the original one's really nice. So, I don't know. It could be really nice looking. Also, I was thinking about Goro Goro, Disciple of Ryusei, because I really love the new like altar full art that they have coming out for it. I'd like to get that for my Bard's Class deck for Pioneer. I think that'd be a lot of fun to have. And I think that's one of the cards that fits really well, just being able to pay a red and give everything haste. And I think what that deck needs is more creatures that are legendary, that are red or green at a cheaper rate, so you're not having so many come into play and be the same exact creature, so you have to sacrifice them. I think that could be really cool. That was the main stuff I saw as far as the new things. I was really excited to see the new deck list for Commander. I do kind of miss when we only got the one per year. I felt like there was like more in it back when we used to get the one Commander deck set per year. But it is cool that we have so much stuff all the time for Commander now. In some sense, you know, it's a great jumping in point for brand new players. If you're interested in getting into Commander, I think both decks look really good to pick up. You're going to get a lot of good cards that are worth the $30 or $40 you're going to spend on the deck for an entry fee. And there's some of those cards that usually inevitably go up because they're legal in formats like Legacy and Commander, to where they're always going to be there and just get better. And especially with those, there's a limited amount of them in the market. Most of the people, when they buy them, they only have one copy. So it's a good starting point to get good cards. If you like Commander or you're interested, you should definitely buy them. Pick one of the ones you like. I used to buy them all the time. Now I've been playing long enough to where if I see one that's really nice, I buy one. I bought my daughter recently the vampire one from, I think it was Crimson Vow. And that deck's really cool. It has a lot of good cards in it. This past week, I got to play some Commander on the weekend with my son. He's about 10 years old, and he is getting into building his own decks, which is really cool. He built an all-color deck, and he built a red-black deck. And so it was really cool to see him kind of create his own stuff. He made a big mistake by he put like 49 lands in both of the decks, and it was really funny because then he was like, hey, he's like, how many lands does a Commander deck usually play? And I was like, well, I mean, it depends, but probably somewhere around between 32 and 39. And he's like, oh, well, I probably have a few too many. And then we played, and he just drew nothing but lands for the longest time. Then I looked through and grabbed him some dual lands, and I think he went through and found some stuff in his cards for dual lands. Nothing fancy, just, you know, stuff that came out of like Kaldheim with the snow duels, because those are cheap, but they're also dual lands that tap for multiple colors. Those are really neat. But it was cool seeing him push himself creatively to come up with new stuff, and I had a lot of fun with that. Also, we played some Dungeons and Dragons over the weekend, and I took some Magic cards that were from the D&D set, and I used them as like characters for the game. So I had art for the characters. I'm playing with my kids, and I think that was a pretty cool idea. So I'd make like a character sheet for them, and then I'd put their card down in like a picture frame at the bottom of the thing. And so whenever they wanted to see what the person they were talking to looks like, I'd put that on the table. Also, I was using the D&D cards, the showcase art cards from the D&D set, because a lot of those have like the monster stats on them and stuff. So I got to use the kobold one. So I showed them what the kobolds they were fighting. We started the Horde of the Dragon Queen D&D campaign. So I was like, yes, I can finally use these. And I used some for like the raiders, not necessarily raiders, but for warriors and stuff like that they were fighting. Mercenaries, that's the word I was thinking of. I used those cards to show kind of what they looked like. It was a lot of fun being able to be creative with that. That's one of the things that I really liked about the D&D set. There's some cool cards in there, like Bard's Class, that are good. in certain formats, and there's some other cards in there for other formats that are really powerful, and I really liked the dungeon mechanic. But I was really looking forward to being able to use that stuff in Dungeons and Dragons, especially the showcase cards, because I think something cool about being able to flip out a kobold or a goblin instead of having to try to like flip the book around and show them what it looks like without them seeing all the monster stats and health points and stuff. You can just be like, oh, you're fighting this thing, you know, and you put it on the table. And they immediately have something to grasp with their imagination if they've never seen it before. So I think that would be a really cool pickup if anybody wants them. Most of them are all super cheap. Like, I'm still working on a couple of them that I haven't found yet, but that's mostly because I don't want to go order them. I might just go ahead and do that. But they have both the showcase arts, which are just nice to look at, but they also have those picture cards that sometimes have the autographs on them. Those are really good too. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much the week. I did start playing Dying Light 2. I don't really know how I feel about it yet. I just got to the part where it goes into the open world. That part seems fun, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess I'll catch you guys next week. Let me know what you guys think. What did you guys think of the new Commander spoilers from today? Which one are you going to pick up? Are you going to pick up any of them? What's your favorite reprints? What cards are you most excited about? What do you think you're going to add to them? Like, if I were to get the red-green one, like, immediately what comes to mind for me is, like, Rancor. Like, I'm like, yeah, because that's one of my favorite green cards in the whole game. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you want to see in there? What do you want to see in future sets? Also, anything you want to see in videos that I do. I am thinking about changing the channel name just so it is something that encompasses all kind of nerdiness type stuff that I like, not just Magic, but primarily Magic will probably be what I talk about because that's what I'm most passionate about. But yeah, anyways, have a great day and I'll talk to you next week.